Providence, our monthly segment here on NBC 10 with Mayor Brett Smiley, and a lot to discuss today. Crime in Providence, including video of a police officer punching a man during an arrest, and what's going on with Rhode Island Recycled Metals after a major fire. The mayor joins us here in studio. Good to see you, Mayor.
Nice to see you too.
Let's talk about what happened near the Dominican Fest over the weekend. The chief came out yesterday, pretty transparent, saying he defended his officers. How did you feel about it?
When I saw the video online from a bystander, I had questions, of course, but have also been briefed by the police. Understand and appreciate that there was a thorough review and believe that it was an appropriate use of force. Listen, we never want to have to use force, but this was someone who was refusing arrest, turns out was carrying an illegal weapon with an extended magazine, and is actually out on parole on a previous gun charge. And so I really commend the work of the Providence Police Department for being able to arrest the subject, secure the illegal weapon with the extended magazine, and no one else got hurt. I think they actually prevented what could have been a really tragic outcome.
You know, festivals are different than when we were kids, right? I mean, you might have one police officer there. Now when you listen to the strategy put in by Providence PD for some of the festivals downtown, like the Dominican, it takes a lot of strategy and a lot of men and women. I'm just wondering, some people feel like these festivals downtown are also can be perhaps a little dangerous.
Well, I don't want people to be discouraged, by the way. This was taking place during the day of the Dominican Festival. The festival itself was in Roger Williams Park. I was there. It was families, it was music and dance and cultural celebration. It was great. This was an unruly party taking place on private property on Broad Street. So I don't want people to think that our festivals are unsafe. The festival actually went off without a hitch. It was a great time, had by all, safely had by all. This was an unlicensed, unregulated, unruly party on private property just off of Broad Street.
All right, let's move on to recycled metals. The Attorney General has really kind of expressed his feelings about this. They just reopened yesterday, we learned, and some neighbors who are down in that area just, concerned. What is your involvement? How do you feel about them as neighbors in the city?
Yeah, we've been frustrated with this business for a long time. They've not been good operators. There's been a series of issues, now 3 fires in 2 years. And the city has sort of the smallest amount of regulatory tools, and we feel like we've done the most. We tried to shut them down. We denied them a license. We sought a temporary restraining order. Judge overturned that. So we have done more up until recently than any other government party has done. Now the Attorney General is at the table. We're grateful for that. I have confidence that he is very focused on this. We're supporting his efforts to get a receiver appointed to shut the business down and get something more contributing to the neighborhood there.
All right. Teacher shortage. You're not the only mayor who's dealing with this, obviously, but we're approaching an academic year when I know that you are interested in kind of getting the power of the schools back to you, but you have a serious teacher shortage problem in Providence. The last numbers I saw was maybe even up to around 100. How are you going to be able to pull this off this academic year?
So we pull it together every year, but sometimes it ends up costing more money than it should, or it has some disruptions at the beginning of the school year. The acute shortages for us are in special ed and instructing our multilingual learners. And so over the last couple of years, the school department's done a very good job of getting existing teachers certified in MLL instruction, but there is a real shortage of special ed teachers. So we're looking at things like incentives, hiring incentives, or other strategies, because we're obligated to, but we also have a moral commitment to making sure that all of our students get what they need. And so what ends up happening sometimes with our special ed kids in particular is we send them to special schools, which cost way more money than educating them in-house. And so the school department, RIDE, PPSD are working hard to fill those vacancies, but we need to be doing more to get more people into the profession in the first place.
Why do you think that you're having the problem in terms of a teacher shortage? Is the pay too low? Is it the conception of inner city schools and the problems that I have to deal with? Because I've heard several different versions of why people don't want to be teaching in the city.
So we have made progress over the last several years to bring pay up. Everybody always wants to get paid more, of course, but we're not out of the ballpark in terms of competitive pay. There's just not as much interest in the profession as there used to be. We're also hurt by, frankly, a strong job market. I mean, there are other jobs available for folks, and then there's been retirements because people get burnt out. It's a tough job,
right,
particularly special ed educators. And so we're looking at pipeline programs with our state colleges and universities, with private colleges, and to try to inspire more students to pursue a teaching career, to make sure that they're paid fairly, but also that they understand it's in fact one of the most impactful jobs that they could hope to have in their career. career.
Let's talk a little bit about it because it's been pushed off to the headlines because of everything else that's going on in the world. But the Washington Bridge, you know, I have a lot of viewers that say, you know, this is still a huge issue in our lives, and it's impacting us both traffic-wise and businesses in the city, and it seems like no one's covering it. So I wanted to ask you about this as our last question today, in terms of, are you still feeling the impacts, and are you frustrated with the process?
We're certainly still feeling the impact. That afternoon commute going eastbound on 195 is still a disaster, and so we definitely are feeling that. The good news is the governor and the legislature passed money for some small business relief. That's going to be released very soon. We've been working closely with the State Commerce Corporation. We're going to be making grants, not loans, grants, which is what we've heard people want.
Right.
Those will be available in the next month or so. We're finalizing the program details on that, so help is on the way in that respect. And I am, you know, I was disappointed that there weren't interest in bidders to see some light at the end of the tunnel.
I mean, that kind of says a lot.
It certainly does. So now they're going back to the table. They're doing this RFI process.
Are there any bids on the table right now?
No, but there has been this, so RFI, request for information, there has been expressions of interest now, which is a longer process that they tried to bypass, and that got no response. So now they're doing the longer process, and they're hearing from prospective contractors to say, we would do it if. And so now they have a chance to then answer those questions. Maybe they're going to have to spend more money. Maybe they have to have a different timeline. But I think all of us want to know when it's going to be over. So we want to see, where's that light at the end of the tunnel.
All right, they're holding me there, Mayor, but thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And of course, you can watch the entire interview on our YouTube page and turn10.com. Tamara?